Hi, so we're here again at Canada's Farm Progress Show in Regina. This time we're at the Vaderstad booth, and I'm with Kyle and Philip, who are the experts on Vaderstad's new L24 planter. Now, you guys have done some experimental field trials this year with this planter because this is kind of a brand new planter. This isn't a typical corn and bean planter being modified for canola. This is a canola dedicated planter.
That's correct. This is the first addition from Vaderstad specifically for small seeds that is at the width and the capacity that our farmers in Western Canada need for the productivity levels that they need.
And so 24 rows, one of the questions conversation we had earlier on was farmers were still a bit concerned in terms of productivity as to how this compares with like a 60-foot air drill that they might be used to seeding with. How do you talk about that with them?
That's correct. So this is a high-speed planter as well compared to your standard air drill. Our air seeders, we recommend canola at 4 to 4.25 miles an hour. This, realistically, you're going to be doing canola at 7, 7.5, 8 miles an hour, depending on your soil prep conditions. So our 35-foot wide tempo is really a 70-foot wide air seeder in terms of productivity.
Now, Kyle, this machine has a fairly wide row spacing for a canola. It's just over 17 inches. Now, you've done some field trials to address farmers' concerns as to how that might affect plant yield. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done a number of trials this year. I myself, we've done about 13 different trials. We've put it against, obviously, 10-inch spaced air seeders, 12-inch spaced air seeders. We've gone against 15-inch competitive planters, and ours is at the 17.7. What the results are showing so far in the growing season is that basically we're just taking an extra day to close the rows in compared to a 15-inch spacing. All of the kind of feedback and response we've had is that the people that seemed to be concerned with that spacing, once they saw the crop come up, close in and fully close in their rows, they suddenly were more comfortable with the 17.7 and weren't concerned anymore, thinking that there was the negative attributes to it that they kind of had coming into the trial.
And you mentioned that the plants were more consistent in their sizing and their expected maturity levels, and that could result in fewer green kernels at the end of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the trials, we ranged our plant populations from about a target rate of 4 plants per square foot to a target rate of 9 plants per square foot. What we have seen so far is that actually we have a more consistent plant development and plant growth in maintaining even plant sizing at the lower rates. So as we got into the higher rates, it seems that there is a too high of a plant population, and there's more competition happening amongst the canola in the row, almost being kind of like a volunteer weed almost for the other canola plants in the row.
Now, Philip, you mentioned that one of the things producers using this might have to consider is that it's going to take another pass to get all the fertilizer components down that they want to.
That's correct. As this machine sits currently, it does have about 140 bushel fertilizer hopper on it, which has individual coulters per row. So that might work for your phos needs, but for your nitrogen needs, you're going to have some additional application, whether that means a fall banded application, something spread prior to going in there in the spring, or maybe top dressing afterwards. But what you're going to have to give up by doing an extra application of your nitrogen, you're going to gain on your seed savings for what this machine will save you in terms of pounds per acre compared to your traditional air seeder.
Now, you were talking earlier some numbers that could amount to up to $12,000 a day in savings in terms of seed cost.
That's correct. Like Kyle said, we're targeting about 4 or 5 plants per square foot, depending on your TKW of your canola. Likely most farmers are 4 pounds to the acre or higher currently through their air seeder. We should likely end up somewhere around 2-ish pounds per acre with this machine. So just rough numbers, if you're going to save 2 pounds of canola per acre and say $15 a pound for canola, that's $30 an acre in seed savings for every acre that this thing's planting.
And is the L24 available for order now? When will it be available to actually farmers to take delivery of?
Correct. So this L24 is actually the very first one in North America. Just landed 2 weeks ago. It's never been here before, but customers can absolutely order an L24 for either fall potentially or more likely spring of 2019 actual use in the field.
And is there an MSRP set yet on this machine? Do you have a range of based on?
Yeah, it's going to depend on if you decide to go with the fertilizer hopper or not. If you can delete the fertilizer hopper and the fertilizer coulters and just go with the row units if you want to, and it would range anywhere from 280,000 full retail to 350,000 full retail.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.